Hi Capricorns, Trishna here. Welcome to your July 2019 reading. What I'm feeling for you is leading up into July. I feel like you're doing all right. You haven't been doing as well as you would like, but you still have a little hope in you, and so you're doing all right. You're doing fine. Things could be better, but things could also be worse. I feel like going into July though, you're gonna continue to be working. I don't know if it was June or if it was May. I think it was May. We had a video where we said slow and steady wins the race. And I feel like that's going to be July too. It's going to be you working on something, just working, just doing, just acting, not a lot of flair going on, just the typical day-to-day, run your business, do what you have to do, create the content every day, that kind of thing. The typical, again, no, not a lot of flair, just work. Work, 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 work. And I feel like closer to the end of July, so maybe like the third week, there's going to be a point when you give up. Because I think going throughout July, you're going to be working, but you have a little hope. That's why you've continued to work, but you've also been kind of disappointed with your results from the past. So you're also just kind of doing the motions, but not really focusing on achieving anything specific anymore. You're just kind of doing the motions because there's a process and it's good to follow a process. And I think actually that's really good. I think that's a very good approach. I think that will carry you forward no matter what you want to do. Follow the process and focus on that and making each part of the process as good as possible. And if you do that, then the end result that comes from this process will be good as well, naturally, because everything that led up to it was good too. But towards the end of the month, you're going to give up. You're going to give up. There's going to be part of you that just says, you know what? Screw it. This isn't working the way that I wanted it to, so I'm just going to do this, but I'm going to do it my way. So what I want to talk about that is, so Capricorns. Capricorns are very, very structured, and they very strongly believe in that structure. And so whenever they start something new, they like to understand what the structure is already, like what structure have other people done that makes them successful, and what works in that structure and what doesn't, and how do I take that same structure and apply it. So, Capricorns, whatever they do, there's always rules around what they do that they impose on what they're doing. Those rules don't have to be there, but they put them there. They live by a code, they live by rules, they live by knowing black from white. They're just structure. And that's what you've been doing, is you've been working on things, but working on them in such a structured way that there isn't as much room for you and your creativity to really come through and shine, so that you add yourself into what you're doing, and you make it something special that nobody else can make. So I hope this is making sense. Let me tell you the context that I'm seeing this in. This, of course, is a general reading, so it'll apply to whatever context this resonates with for you, but I'm thinking about a business. So maybe you have an offer, and you've been offering this offer the way everybody else does, because that seems to be the structure that is professional, or that's a structure that is the etiquette for your industry. There's some reason why you've put certain rules around how you do things that is centered around how you think things are supposed to be done, or the right way to be done, or the best way to be done. But however you've done that, it's taken the you part, the soul of you, out of what you do. You're missing. And I want to give an example of the body, because we just talked about the soul. So we have these bodies that are structures that basically, I guess you could say, hold our soul in place. It's the vehicle that our soul likes to travel around in the physical realm. But and the body is important. Obviously, we need it to be working in certain ways to be able to live in this world with other humans. Like we want to be able to walk, we want to be able to drive, we want to be able to eat so we can live. And, water is important. Water is everywhere here. So we want to be able to be a body that benefits from the intake of water. You don't want to, like, if an alien came here that was not carbon-based, or like didn't have water on their planet and hadn't evolved to be a being that like benefits from water, and then they came to Earth and all we have is like water and we don't have their elements, they wouldn't survive. So we need to be in a body that actually allows us to survive in this particular place that we're in, this particular lifetime, this particular planet, all of that. But we're not just our bodies. There's personality, and there's experience, and there's heart, and there's wisdom, and that all comes from the soul. And if we just focused on the body, we wouldn't really get to know anybody. We wouldn't be able to see the magic in each person. They would just be a body. And some look nice, and some have different shapes and different sizes and different colors, and maybe you find some more interesting than others, but you wouldn't really know anything about what's behind just the outside casing. The soul is really what matters. That's really who the person is. We're not our bodies, we're our souls. And the soul is the magic, right? And so that's the same thing with your business. You are creating the structure, and there isn't your soul in there. You're just creating the body, but it could look like a great body, but where's the magic? What does this represent? What makes this structure, this body special, aside from how you built it or how it looks? So that's something that I think you need to keep in mind. And I think that's kind of where this is all going, is that you've been doing the actions. That's great. You're following the process. But somewhere along the line, or just kind of the Capricorn way, is you forgot to add your soul into it. You forgot to add the magic into it. That's all been forgotten about, or I want to say lost, but it's not lost. It's there. It's just hidden. And I think once you give up, once you have that moment of giving up and saying, you know what, I like doing this. It's not working the way I want it to. So since I love doing this, I'm going to do it anyways, but I'm going to do it my way. Screw it. I'm just going to do it my way. I don't care about the structure anymore. We're just going to do this my way. That's it. I'm just going to have fun with this. This isn't going to be anything. I'm just going to do this because I want to. And I think that's where things will start to change for you, because one, you're no longer focused on the end result, and number two, that's when you're going to do things your way. That's the soul way, right? Not the perfect professional right etiquette way. So I think that's kind of a lesson to learn for this month. I think another lesson to learn is, I think whatever you've been doing recently, that's not really going to be tied to what will make you successful necessarily. So a few months ago, like back in March probably, I think I said something where whatever you're doing right now, or maybe it was like February, somewhere around that time, whatever it is you're working on right now, you may not know the entire picture of it, but you're enjoying it, and that's going to be the thing that will bring you success. I think I said something like that. I don't think you're working on that same thing right now, or at least not in the same form. You've tweaked it, or you've changed it, and what you're doing right now is different from what you were doing then, and that's why you're hitting up against a brick wall. It's because you went back into your own Capricorn way of planning everything and needing to know end to end how everything's going to work, and know that it's actually going to bring you a profitable result before you really engage in it, before you get excited about it. And that wasn't the lesson of this year. We learned January and February, and I think March, that you need to just do what you enjoy doing right now and take the pieces that work, that you enjoy, and add it. And you're not going to know the end result, but that's okay, because when a Capricorn knows the end result, they won't invest in it if it doesn't seem profitable, and they will invest in it if it does seem profitable, even if they won't actually enjoy that. They just think that they will because they see the profit and they get excited about the profit. And this doesn't have to be money, but like they see like where it's going to go, and if it looks like something that they want, even if the whole process there doesn't seem enjoyable, or if it's something that they've never really had an interest in before, they'll go after it. And then they'll end up feeling like empty, even if they get the success, they'll kind of drop it and move on to something else, because it's like, well, I don't actually really enjoy this. I want to find something else. So that's why the lesson of 2019 has been, you don't need to know the end result. Just focus on now. What do you enjoy, and pull in more of that. And you were doing that, but then I think the past couple months you kind of fell off that path. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is like try to go back to what it was that you enjoyed earlier this year, because you found it. You found something that you really liked, that was working, that was exciting, and it felt good, and it felt like you were on the right path. And maybe you didn't have all the answers, but you didn't feel as stuck. Like I think you felt stuck January and February, but I think around March and April, you felt better. Like it felt good, and then you switched, and now you've been doing the process. That's good, but the wrong process. Do the process for what you enjoy, and go back to March. What were you doing in March that you loved? Because I think that was around the time frame, give or take a couple months. So, think about the beginning of the year. What did you like? So that's really what I'm getting for you, is you're going to give up. That's a good thing. The moment you give up, that's when you're going to start doing things your way. You're going to throw out etiquette. And the thing about this, okay, here's another thing. Even if you throw out etiquette and professionalism and structure, a Capricorn can never completely throw that out. There will always be an element of structure, because the Capricorn functions in structure. So even if you're going to go do your own thing your way, there's going to be organization behind it. There's going to be some kind of process behind it. But you'll be leading with the creativity, with your magic, and then following with the structure, versus starting with the structure and then forgetting about the magic. So lead with the magic, lead with the soul, and then the structure of the body will form around it as it needs to. You will form that yourself. And I think that's also, so in a lot of my videos I talk about how we always need to incorporate both the physical realm and the spiritual realm, because we're both physical and spiritual beings. And so you have the physical realm down, you got all those skills, all the structural skills, but even if you're in a business that's intuitive like this, and that's a spiritual realm, you're probably taking a structured approach to it still, and you need to lead with the spiritual side. Don't put too much structure around the spiritual side until that part has been figured out and you're excited about it. Then you can kind of encase it, but you got to lead with the spiritual. So I hope this was helpful. I thank you so much for watching. I hope I earned your like and your subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.